So I'm going to show you how to use some embed code using an iframe code to embed storyline content into a Canvas course. On the screen right now you can see that I have this drag and drop activity that is embedded in the course, and it fills within the screen. The important thing when we're using iframe is to make sure that the content shrinks. This was a first version that we used where you can see that the content doesn't shrink, and all of a sudden we end up with these scroll bars, which makes it difficult to use. So I'm going to show you the tips and techniques that I've created that will allow you to use an iframe code to embed that and also allow them to shrink at the same time. And it takes both something in the iframe code and then something on the storyline side. So let's start with when we publish our content from storyline. So let's say we've finished this rock identification module that we've created and we want to actually publish it. The important setting that we need to pay attention to is, if you look right here in the properties for the storyline player, click on that, and then this gives you some of the options if you haven't looked through this before for colors, titles, sidebars, menus. You'll definitely want to make sure you select those correct options. But the one we're interested in, if you look up here under Other and we click that, is this second one right here. We want to scale the player to fill the browser window. We do not want to lock the player at the optimal size. So what this allows it to do is, when we're shrinking the window, the player can actually shrink or expand to fill that area. And then when we put it within the iframe source, again, it will allow it to shrink and expand. So that's what we want to do, is make sure we have the scale player to fill the browser window. So as soon as we have all that content, we say OK, and then you would publish as you normally do, upload to an FTP or have me upload to an FTP, and then I send you back a link. So once you have that link, let's go back into our window here, and we're going to go into an ID test. So we've exported that. I've sent you a link, and you'll notice here's that iframe source code. What you'll need to do is, your link that I've sent you is going to go in this area right here. So when we edit the page, I've put this in the regular general view so I can just copy it. Cut. We go into switch view. You paste in the iframe code that I've provided, and then you would paste your link into this area. Since we just did the rock story that I just created, I'm just going to leave that in there so I can show you what that looks like. The important thing is that we have a set height that allows it to show it 640 by 640, but we also wanted to expand and contract, just like we set in storyline, that it will scale to this iframe area. We want the overflow to be 100%, so it's going to basically fill that frame. So once we're done, if you switch back views to your design view, you'll see a big yellow box with a small icon in there, and that is correct. You will not see the storyline content until we save changes. So now when we click Save Changes, this is going to automatically start playing.
Welcome to the Geology Rock Identification Learning Module. Let's head into the mine and down the elevator to get started.
So let me turn this down while it's doing its thing. But what you can see is, here we have the standard browser size. But if I start shrinking the browser window, so if somebody doesn't have as much browser window, you can see that it allows the storyline content to shrink and expand. So again, we need to make sure that we make the correct selection in the publish area to make sure to scale to the browser, and then when we paste in the iframe code, you just put in your link, and that iframe code will already include to make sure that it scales that as well. So that should work for you. If you have any problems, just please let me know.